Welcome to Beyond the Blazer. My name is Chris P. For those of you that don't know me, I am a Atlanta realtor, and I'm excited to be bringing you this podcast. And I have a very special guest with me today, Marlene Bernasconi.
Hi, everybody. Glad to be here.
Glad to have you, Marlene. Marlene serves the East Tennessee area from Knoxville, Pigeon Forge, Gatesburg to the Tri-Cities. Marlene has more than 23 years of experience working with sellers, buyers, and investors, both in residential and commercial transactions, as well as brokering several real estate offices. She currently serves as a training and production manager at Wyker Realtors, Saxon Clark in Kingsport, Tennessee, as well as an instructor teaching the Tennessee pre-licensing real estate course. She's also the treasurer for the National Association for Hispanic Real Estate Professionals. Her vast real estate career includes being a principal broker at Wyker Realtors at Vantage Plus in Knoxville, Tennessee, and also a managing broker for Wyker Realtors, Best Beach Real Estate in Miami, Florida. Fun fact, she was the #1 recruiter among Wyker franchise offices across the country in 2015, and 2016 helped double the production of her office in her first year. Marlene, what an amazing background.
Thank you, Christian, for that wonderful introduction. Yes, I've done a lot of stuff in real estate in the past 23 years and looking forward to doing more.
Yes, needless to say, there's nothing you haven't seen, right? But in this business, there's always something that we've never seen, right?
Correct. Yes.
All right. Well, perfect. I'm glad to have you on. You know, I think with your knowledge and everything that you've done in your career, I couldn't think of a better guest to have on my first episode for the podcast. So thank you so much. So I definitely want to, dive right in and, let's talk about this past year. What an incredible 2022 it's been, hasn't it?
It has been a crazy year. We saw from January where the interest rates were still very low, 3.5%, to go up almost to 7% in 6 months. It's unbelievable. I have never seen anything like that in the market before. And things have definitely changed a lot from last year. So it has been a crazy year, but still real estate, it's very strong and still going.
Yeah. And Marlene, you went through the 2008 crisis, correct? You were in real estate at that time?
Correct. The big bubble that we had in 2007, 8, and 9, absolutely. And that was a crazy year as well. Well, actually a few years where, real estate came to a standstill for a little bit, and then the foreclosures broke out and the short sales. And so I have definitely seen a lot of different changes in this market since I've been doing real estate.
That's amazing. And look, here you are, 23 years in, strong and still going. That's amazing. Kudos to you.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
Yeah, I definitely want to unpack some of the things because most of the people that are going to be watching this podcast, they're going to be, new agents, or it may be even a potential buyer or seller. But for the most part, this podcast is dedicated towards newer agents or real estate agents in general. And I want to ask and start by asking, what should real estate agents expect to do to succeed in 2023 and this year?
Well, Christian, new agents are my expertise. That's what I do. I train new agents from the beginning when they don't know anything and kind of walk them through all the steps so that they can be successful. And as the real estate market changes, so do the agents have to change as well. Their strategies, the way they prospect, the way they conduct business, because the markets are very, very different. Last year, you could get a listing very quickly. Things would sell within a few hours or days. And I really hope that those agents that came on the market during that time realized that that was not normal at all. And that we are definitely shifting to a normal market where things take, 4 to 6, 8 months to sell sometimes. That's just normal in this market. So for the next year, one of the things that I am really focusing on in my office with my new agents is for sale by owners and expireds. And why is that? When the market was super hot right? The for sale by owners would sell without even putting a sign outside their door, right? Now it's a whole different story. Now they're not selling, they're just sitting there because we have a lot less buyers. And for example,
Yeah.
I have a property that I just sold, and it took me 5 months, and it was on the MLS. I did heavy marketing on it. It was a beautiful home. So that's just a sign of what the market is doing. So we are focusing on for sale by owners, going to visit them, you know, reaching out to them, see how you can be of assistance. And Christian, perhaps at another time, we can do a whole session just on how to pursue for sale by owners with a very specific strategy that I use so that you become a resource for them and not a burden or somebody who just wants to get their listing. So perhaps we can schedule something later on in the year for that. But yes, expires and for sale by owners are a hot ticket right now, because they're not selling without us, for sure.
Yeah.
Plus,
Yeah.
you need to switch your prospecting, the way that you prospect, the way that you go after, you know, sellers or buyers. There's a lot of resources out there, companies that will do the legwork for you and get you appointments, appointments or buyer appointments. Yes, you may have to pay a little bit of a referral fee, but you know, when you have a lot of different resources working for you, I don't care about the 20% as long as I have a large volume, right? So
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
definitely we have to change the way we do business, and we got to do something about it. We can't just sit and wait for the business to come to us.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. This business is not about sitting and waiting around. You know, you kind of, it's like a hunter, right? You hunt, you eat what you hunt.
That's right.
And
That's
you
right.
know, I hear that all the time, and you know, I couldn't be any far from the truth. It's definitely one of those businesses that, yes,
Yep.
referral business is great, but you, in order to get a referral business, you have to build that book of business. So
Exactly.
awesome. And you know, since 2020, let's think about 2020. How has real estate changed in just a matter of 3 years?
Well, I think real estate is in cycles. You know, things go up and go down. So the changes are always pretty much the same. You get to a buyer's market or a seller's market, and you know, from 2020, again, it was a very rare market what we saw. Even agents that I know that have been in the business 40 years, they had never seen anything like that before. And so it was definitely a shocker. It was a very positive market for sellers, you know, great time to sell. Not so good for the buyers because the buyers couldn't find properties. So, you know, we need a market that is for both, that, you know, we have sellers that are selling at a normal market value. We need buyers that are willing to buy and are not so scared of the interest rates, you know, because let's think about it. In the 80s, actually in the early 90s, when I bought my house, the interest rate were 12%. And I was paying that. So, you know, people forget about the historical data that we have and focus on what we had last year. So even 6%, if we had to pay that now, it's still a bargain. So
Yeah.
it's educating. We got to educate our buyers and
Yes.
show them that it's not such a big deal if the interest rates go up, because what's happening is the home prices have gone down. So now we have like an even, you know, plain lower prices homes and a little bit higher interest rates. So you're basically paying the same as you would in 2020 or 2021 with the, you know, asking 50,000 over asking price, right?
Right.
So
Right.
you're still going to pay for it one way or another.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree 100% with all of that. It's you know, and to your point, I love what you said. We have to educate the consumer. I don't think there's any better, I guess, profession or any better person. I don't care if you're like an economist or a person that talks about you know, the future of the current market. That's great and dandy, but I think there's no better person than a realtor that's out there in the field educating these buyers about, you know, to your point, the history, right? We go back to the 80s and the 90s. And I say this all the time. We've gotten so accustomed to something that wasn't normal that kind of became normal to people. So now that things are back to normal, it's like, wait a minute, what's going on? So
Exactly.
that, that piece of education, I think we definitely as realtors need to showcase that to consumers, and really there's different programs, right? You have the rate buy down,
Yes.
right? There's many different ways that you can help out. But I think as an agent, this is the time, and I've said this. I actually had an interview with the board of the Atlanta Association here, and they asked me, how do I feel about the current market? And I said, there's a lot of uncertainty right now for agents, for buyers, for sellers. But from the agent perspective, right now is the time to really educate yourself, because that's what's going to make you stand out
Correct.
between the competition.
Correct. And you're going to have to work a little harder than you did before. You're not going to get 15 offers on that listing that you got. So it's, I guess you got to work the business, and a lot of agents that started in, the 2020 pandemic era, they haven't seen anything different than, oh, I got a listing and it's going to sell in a week. So,
right, yeah.
And it's going to weed out a lot of real estate agents that are not doing, well or doing a good job. So it's, the strongest ones will survive, like I have for 23 years. So you just got to keep at it.
Yeah. You're the perfect example. I love it.
Thank you. I tell people, when I started, I was a single mom with 2 young children, and if I could do it, anybody can do it.
Look at that. How motivating is that? That's amazing. Yeah. And that brings me to the next thing that I wanna talk about. It's marketing. Obviously, this business is kind of surrounded itself with marketing, right? Without marketing, you really don't have a business. But I think some of the marketing has changed throughout the years. What type of marketing do you think is going to be most effective for agents this year in 2023 compared to the marketing that was done in 2020?
Well, the market prior to 2020, marketing has always been a basic need in order to sell something. But the way that you market, you go back to the 80s, and we used to do marketing via ads on newspapers and magazines, right? The pictures and all of that, sending a lot of postcards out. The market has changed drastically since 2020, since technology became the only way that we could reach out to other people. And more people are using that technology now for real estate. We could not do open houses in person, so we had to do virtual open houses. So we really learned how to market and do everything we would do in person, via the internet. And a lot of agents loved that. I loved it, but marketing, online on social media is one of the best ways to do it. A lot of agents still do farming, sending postcards, but in my opinion, you can reach more people doing a boost on Facebook of a property than you would with postcards, because the postcards come and they throw them away, but they're continuously seeing those ads of those properties in their feed. And I can target exactly who I want to see my ad. So I think online marketing is one of the best ways to do marketing. But let's not forget that we also need the personal touch. So we still need to do just listed postcards, just sold postcards, that type of marketing. Because that's going to make the neighborhood aware of me and that I am the agent that handles that area. So it's a combination of different things, and social media obviously is one of the best ways to do it.
Yeah, great point. And when it comes to marketing, I think of it as a highway with many different exit points, right? Exactly. You have different lanes and different things. You can do social media. You can do, like to your point, postcards. You can do traditional marketing. I don't think I would do newspaper. I would want to do a newspaper ad just to say I've done it. To have that.
I haven't done one of those in many, many years. Another thing that that I was actually talking to my agents yesterday about is becoming an agent and marketing yourself. It's not just about real estate, and it's not just about selling a property. It's about your community. And you have no idea how wonderful it is when you work and you live in a community and you market those businesses in that community. how much more business is going to come to you because of that. So for example, I was
Yes.
telling them, you should, we get our nails done, our hair done, we go to restaurants, we go to little stores. And why not do a little video? Meet the owner, talk about their business, to bring clients in. And then you can post that on your social media. And of course, if you do a video promoting a specific business, you now can leave business cards there for them to, for anybody that walks in. And of course, they will never say no to you because you are helping them grow their business.
Yeah.
So community involvement is very important, for people to know you, for you to know what's going on around, and for your community as well to see that you are not just selling real estate, you are part of the community as well and giving
Yeah.
back.
Yeah. It's like a no-brainer. It's like free marketing, right?
Exactly.
You market their stuff, they'll market your stuff. It's that
Exactly.
reciprocity that you get.
Yep.
Now, there's kind of a lot of things that's going on in the real estate tech world, right? Obviously, with the iBuying space having done a lot of shifting and a lot of different things. I want to touch base on that because I think, and I'll give my opinion in a second, but I think that area is right now going downhill, and this is the perfect time for agents to take advantage. And I want to get your opinion. What do you think the future of iBuying is going to be?
Rebelled against it when it first came out. It was like our nemesis to the realtor life, right? We went up in arms when Zillow decided to do it. And then after Zillow, a lot of other companies came on the market. And in my opinion, Christian, this is just a trend that it's going to go away. There are still several iBuying companies out there. But what they don't realize is that a very small percentage of sellers and buyers are going to sell and buy their homes in that way. They need the personal touch. They want the human being to be there to listen to them, to walk them through this entire process. So even though it's still out there, and like you mentioned, and we know for a fact that Zillow, closed down their offices, and you used to be one of those. It's not a system that is sustainable for long term. In the moment that it came out, it was a great thing. People were using it. But again, it's a very small percentage and less people are doing it. So I'm not sure. I don't think it's going to last very long on the market, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You
you know what?
need a human being to conduct real estate.
Yes. I agree 100%. When I, being one of the original ones to launch that program for the Miami market, it was a honeymoon phase. I remember telling you I had got hired by Zillow and I felt like I was at the pinnacle of real estate, right?
Yeah.
And then I was there and then I realized, wait a minute, this is not the Amazon of real estate, right? And to your point, it is something and again, this is just my opinion. I think it is something that is going to phase away. And just because of what I know from the inside, I think that this was just a strategy for the iBuyers, and I'm not just going to mention any particular one, but I just think that this was a strategy for them to become a brokerage without disrupting, making a media frenzy, chaos about them becoming a brokerage. Because if you look at it now, most of these brokerages or most of these companies that started off in iBuying are now brokerages, and they're no longer doing the iBuying program. So it's like, what was really the purpose?
Exactly.
But that'll definitely be a podcast for a different time because I can really get caught up on that one.
Definitely.
But great, yeah. So back to to iBuying, and I mentioned earlier, I think it's a great time for agents to take advantage because, and I'll give a little insight here, and I don't think you know this, but when we launched Zillow Offers, from the very beginning, as real estate agents, we're always often told, don't lower your commission, right? The commission, it is what it is. Stick firm to your commission. Obviously,
Right.
there's circumstances that you may want to do that, but for the most part, you want to stick to your commission.
Right.
I remember you showed me when I first started in real estate, the $6 always carry $6 with you. You remember that?
I teach it every time, and people love it.
I used to use it all the time, and then I would still feel a little hesitancy, right? until I got to Zillow and I realized when we started this program, we were charging 13, 16% fees to these homeowners to sell their home to Zillow. So now now that I'm back in traditional real estate, I'm like, I am not lowering my fee at all because you were willing to pay 16%. I should bump up my commission to 16%. That's what I should do.
And
But
they paid it, which was crazy. They were not willing
yes,
to pay 6%, but they were charging because it was just presented in a different way, not just a
correct.
commission. So yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. So, this is right now in the market that we're in, we're kind of like getting back to normal. I want to ask you, since you're a real estate instructor, why is it the right time now, 2023, why is it the right time now to get your real estate license?
I get that question asked a lot of times, and I will tell you, Christian, that any time is a good time to get into real estate. It doesn't matter what the market is doing, you still can make lots of money if you shift to, fulfill the need that is there, right? So we're in a seller's market, we're going to try and get listings. We're in a buyer's market, we're going to try and get a lot of buyers to buy. So the market is always good for real estate. So it's like people ask, when is the best time to buy a house? Today. Get into a real estate course. I came from a corporate America environment, 9-to-5 job, which until I got into real estate, I didn't realize how a slave I was of the corporate. And, I work harder now, but I set my own hours. I do it on my own terms, and I do what I love to do. And that's what I tell all the agents. Right now, it's a great time to get in real estate. I just finished a class for the pre-licensing course. And, these agents are getting, they pass their state exam, they join a real estate company. The key is where you go to work. What kind of resources, what kind of training, because you definitely need the training. It's very, very important. We are not born knowing real estate. And I was just like any new agent, not knowing anything. And that, doesn't give you confidence, and you need confidence in this business, especially if you want to go after sellers. So,
Yes.
get your license, go to a great company that's going to train you and teach you and help you be successful. And I think, anytime is a good time to get into this business and leave the 9-to-5, clocking in, clocking out job, and you can make as much money as you want, not what they're paying you as a salary. It's, I want to make 100,000. If I work it right, I will make that money or more.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree 100%. And you hit, the key here is confidence in this business. It kind of goes back to that knowledge that you have to learn. To your point, like you said, we're not born knowing real estate. You have 23 years of real estate experience, a lot of knowledge. So I think, the agents that you're teaching to get their license, they're in great hands, and if they join your brokerage, and you're managing them as their principal broker, I think it's they're in really great hands. And I'll tell you this because I was there. I
trained you.
I've learned from you a lot. Yeah, exactly. You trained me. I remember when I was there, I was so excited. And what I honestly liked was that you said, for those of you that don't know, Marlene and I, we're family, but she didn't allow me to join the brokerage just because we were family. She really told me, hey, you need to go interview with a couple brokerages, and then you decide if you want to come work with us here at Work. And she's like, I would love to have you, but you need to do your due diligence. And I love that. And I say that all the time to new agents that I speak to here. It's like, you hear all the time, oh, my mom is in real estate, my aunt is in real estate, and I'm going to go join their brokerage. Great. But sometimes doing business with family is not the best option.
And sometimes,
but
it's a small real estate company, nothing wrong with that. The mom and pop type shops, which are great, but they do not have the infrastructure for the training, for the support that a bigger company has. And
Yeah.
I still do that. I still tell agents, you need to go and interview other companies because I want you to be 100% sure. And when you're good, you're not afraid of the competition, right? On the
Right.
contrary, they're going to compare you to the other companies and go, wow, I definitely need to be with this company. So yeah, I mean, that's definitely something I still do. And we do get a lot of our students that go to the school that I teach that, come into my company after they get licensed. And they do it because they know they're going to get the training, the support, and that, if they put in the work, they will be successful because that's our goal. If they are not successful, we are not successful. We don't charge any fees like they have a lot of companies that charge, monthly fees. We give you everything and we only get your split once you make your first deal. So, you don't have to spend any money and it is in our best interest to make you successful. So yeah.
Yeah. You gotta love that. You gotta love that. Marlene, I'm gonna take you back a couple years back. And
Okay.
I want you to think, since you got your license, right? And you began your practice, what is your, up to today, what is your most favorite industry implementation that has made your career as an agent much easier?
Well, I started real estate in 1999. And as you can probably imagine, technology was not up and running back then. I remember we got access to the first computer MLS system. And it was very, very difficult to deal with. So I have been fortunate to see the evolution of this industry and see all the different tools that we used to not have that we have available now. And something, Christian, I have noticed that the more tools and easier the things are to do, the less people want to do. Because when I think back, we had to go in and look, drive around to get people, to see the FISBOs, or, it was a lot of personal contact. We didn't have the internet. We couldn't do e-sign. So, I mean, it seems like it was a million years ago, but it was only 23 years ago, right? Now we have all this technology, which I love, but you got to use technology and also use the personal touch. You can never lose that. That is key in this business.
Yes.
Now, fast forward, there have been a lot of different things that have made our business easier, the MLS, the e-sign, right? But one of the things that I love, and I have been using it for the past 7 years, is the KV Core platform. If you don't know about it, Google it. It is super expensive. And most companies that do have it give it to you for free, usually. I know in our company we do. This platform runs your entire real estate business. And it's like having a virtual assistant. So it sends emails for me. It sends properties to my clients. So if somebody goes to my website, they register, they click here and there, and the system, based on what they clicked on, is going to send them some properties that match that. So it is an amazing system. You can do mass emails. I mean, I can talk about KV Core forever. And honestly, I tell all my agents, I will never work in a company that doesn't have KV Core, because it is my assistant. And that's one of the biggest tools that I've seen in the industry for the agents. Connections to social media, it does all my postings for me. I mean, it is an amazing system. And I think that's what, has made the biggest impact in my business. Since I'm just, I work by myself, I don't have a team, it's just me. I do it all.
Yeah.
So it definitely helps a lot to have that system, to keep everything organized. I can do everything from that platform.
Yeah. And, that brings me to my next question. And I think we're going to close with this one, but, having been in the business for so long, what are your thoughts about opening and operating your own brokerage or team?
3 years after I got my license, I got my broker's license. And that was my idea. Eventually, not something I wanted to do right away. I played with the idea of opening up my own brokerage. For me particularly, it was not something I really wanted to pursue, or even right now, perhaps in the future, who knows. But you know, there's an expense that comes with it, the responsibility of giving your agents the tools that they need. And obviously you got to be at a different level in order to do that. I wouldn't open a brokerage unless I had all those tools that I can give my agents like a big company does. So I opted for working for somebody else. Let them worry about paying the bills, right?
Yeah.
And all the stuff that comes with owning a brokerage. I love the business and I just like to do stuff. So I am doing the real estate classes. I do trainings in the office. I do my own deals. I only work with sellers. So I am free. You know, when I go home, I don't have to worry about the corporate stuff. But obviously, a lot of people are very interested in having their own brokerage. You can make 100% of your commission, which is fantastic, but also take a look at the expenses that you will have. Definitely
Yeah.
more than the split that your broker is taking from you to provide you the great copy machine that does color, you know, and all the other tools, the systems, you know, all the real estate training. So there's a lot that a company does that justifies more than anything the split that, you know, they take from you, if you are getting all those tools and resources, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. And, that's one of the things. And, I would love to invite you to another podcast, and we'll debrief on like FISBOs and all of that, and other things. But when I was looking for, when I moved to Georgia and I got my Georgia license, and I got back to traditional real estate, I interviewed with, I kid you not, maybe four. And the number one thing that I was looking for was the support. Right. And I prior to that, I was with a brokerage that gave me 100% commission, but I didn't have the support, I'm not one that needs too much handholding, but sometimes you need that knowledgeable person that you can go to and say, hey, I'm encountering this problem. What should I do? And with that other brokerage, I was not receiving that. It was like hard to get communication with the broker.
You know, I always tell the agents that, especially when they're brand new, if they go to one of those 100% companies, I said, 100% of zero is still zero, because you're not getting trained, you're not getting support, you're not going to do any deals. You might get an accidental deal here and there, but that's not a sustainable career. You want something that you're going to be doing deal after deal after deal, several, 10, 15 deals a year. So you definitely need a company that will support you in that and that will help you make more deals. So a lot of the agents, I had a few agents that I interviewed and they decided to go with 100% company. And to me, that was fine, because all I did is I followed up 3 months later and they came back running. It's like, I haven't done anything. I haven't learned anything. I'm not going to make any money this way. So like I said, 100% of zero is still zero. So definitely invest in yourself. Go to a company that will train you so that you can succeed.
Yeah, let's put that on a shirt. I think we'll make some money off of that.
Absolutely, I'm down.
Oh my gosh. Well, Marlene, it was truly an honor and a pleasure to have you on. This is just, the first of many invitations, and I am so excited to have you on in the future. And before we disconnect, I definitely want you to let people know, how do they get a hold of you if they want to pick your brain with knowledge or
Absolutely.
Or go into...
I did real estate in Miami, Florida for 20 years. After that, I moved up to Tennessee, to the East Tennessee part, the Tri-City area that we call it. And so I'm working here and doing all the stuff, and you can reach out to me anytime. My number is 423-444-4360, and my email is realestatebymarleneb@gmail.com. So reach out to me. I'll be happy to chat with you and give you any guidance that you may need. And it was a pleasure, Christian, being your first guest here. I'm honored and very excited about what the future holds for both of us. So I'm very excited about it.
Great, fantastic. Well, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. I have some great guests coming up on the next couple of episodes. I have an attorney from Wiseman Law. I have a luxury real estate agent coming in. So stay tuned, make sure you subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thank you.